Hi class, in this video I want to go over the instructions for the portfolio. The portfolio is our last assignment of the semester and it basically takes the place of our final exam. So in English 111 we do not have a final exam, however we do have the portfolio. So the portfolio consists of only 3 assignments. I know that in other classes they have you submit every single assignment that you've done in the class, but for English 111 you only have to submit 3 things. Now, one of the things that I should mention is that the goal of the portfolio is to show that you are ready to move on to the next English class. Now, I know that for some of you, English 111 is the last English class that you need. So in this case, for you, the goal is to demonstrate that you are ready to do other college level writing. While for some of you, the goal is to show that you're ready to move on to English 111 English 211 or English 218 or, another English course. So as a whole, the portfolio, the goal of it is to present your best work and to also demonstrate that you've learned the necessary skills in English 111 in order to move on to other college level writing. So one of the first things that you need to know is that this portfolio consists of 3 different assignments. Now, each assignment is worth 50 points, which means that they are all equal, which means that obviously you should not submit incomplete portfolios because that will affect your grade drastically. So the 3 assignments are a revision of one previously graded essay, a PSA poster, and a self-evaluation letter. So we're going to go ahead and talk first about revision. Now here I have a little blurb that explains what revision means. Revision, a lot of people think it means just fixing commas and errors and things like that, but what we're looking for in the portfolio is we are looking for revision that is substantial. Basically what that means is that you change your thesis, you develop your paragraphs, you work on the organization, you move things around. We're looking for substantial revision to demonstrate what you have learned. Now, when it comes to this assignment, I suggest that you maybe choose the essay where you got the lowest grade. That way you can make the most improvement to it. So if you're taking an online class, obviously the previously graded essay is already available on Canvas. So in that case, you don't have to provide a copy. However, if you're revising an essay that you did in class, then you can go ahead and take a picture of that previously graded essay along with my comments, and I can go ahead and so that I can go ahead and see it. But regardless of whether you're submitting an essay, a revision of an essay that you did in a face-to-face class or online, you still have to make sure that in the revised copy, you highlight all of the changes that you have made. And the reason for that is because if we look at the rubric, one of the criteria of the rubric is, are the revision changes between drafts clear and easy to identify? So if you highlight all of the changes, automatically it's yes. If you don't highlight the changes, then it can either be no or it can be in progress, depending on how well I am able to determine what changes you've made. So just to summarize, everybody has to highlight everything they change in their revised copy. If you change a whole paragraph, if you change a whole page, highlight all that. If you change a comma, highlight that. Because what I am going to do is I am going to go ahead and compare them. So I'm going to look at the revised essay with all the highlights, and then I'm going to look at the one you had previously submitted, and I'm going to compare and contrast them to see how much you've changed, but also look at the quality of the changes you've made. So if you submitted a previously graded essay online, then obviously you don't have to worry about submitting it because I have access to it. However, if you are in a face-to-face class and you submitted the essay in person and I graded it and gave it back to you, you want to go ahead and take a picture of that essay so that I can see what it looked like, and also I can see what comments I made and what suggestions I made. So That's the first component of the portfolio, the revised essay. Next, we have a PSA poster. The PSA poster is similar to what we have been discussing earlier in the semester, which was the visual arguments, right? So we've talked and analyzed ads, and we've also talked about how visual arguments can be made, specifically when they're trying to sell you something. But we're going to be creating a public service announcement. Now, public service announcements are different in the sense that they're not trying to sell you anything, but they're trying to either educate the public or create awareness about a social issue. Right now, after I'm done going over the instructions, I am going to go over to the module, so I will go ahead and show you a PowerPoint that I have that is going to give you ideas on what topics you can select for the public service announcement. But in any case, one of the goals of PSAs is to change people's attitudes and behavior to create positive social change. So that's why a lot of public service announcements, they focus on maybe like smoking or drug abuse or domestic violence, because they want people to get help or to make a positive change. And here I provide some examples, but like I said, I do have a PowerPoint where I list a lot of examples. So you're going to create a PSA poster, and what you're going to do is you're going to either draw, paint, photograph, or use a computer to create your poster. You have complete creative control, so it's up to you. If you draw something or you paint something, just take a picture of the poster and submit it online. Now, however, if you want to take a photograph, obviously make sure that you ask the person you're taking a photograph of. I've had students in the past who take a picture of their younger brothers and sisters, and they maybe have they have like the little sister, she's holding a bag of chips and on the one hand, and the other hand she has like a carrot. So they created a PSA poster about healthy eating habits. There's a lot that you can do. I've also had a lot of students who take pictures in their cars to show, like drinking and driving and things like that. So if you're going to take a photograph, just make sure that you get permission from the people who are in the photo. Obviously, nobody else is going to see it but myself. So, but just keep in mind that you just can't go off and take pictures of people. Also, you can create the poster with your computer. You can use Publisher. You can also use PowerPoint, and you can even use Word. Now, I should say that you want to be careful when it comes to using images from online. Obviously, you can choose images from online, but you have to be careful because some images are copyright. So for example, let me show you, like if I go to Google and I type in PSA poster, it's going to give me some ideas. So first things first, you don't want to just copy something, right? Okay, so here we have several PSA posters on bullying. So let's say I want to do something like this. Now, obviously, if I wanted to do something like this, I cannot go ahead and copy the entire image and use that. If I were to copy the entire image and just paste it, and let's say I made it bigger and I just added some text. So let's say I added some sort of statistic of, let's say, 3 out of 5 students are victims of bullying. And let's say I want to sort of make this a little bit nicer because it's a PSA poster. So let's say I made it bigger and I did this. This would still be considered plagiarism. And the reason this would be plagiarism is because this is not my own design. I copied it, okay? So you do not want to copy whole images from Google. Instead, what you can do if you're going to use it through Word, and let's say you have that concept in your mind of stop bullying, what you can do is you can go ahead and maybe come up with an idea of what you want to put in your poster. So first we're going to look for a stop sign, right? So another thing you want to make sure of is that the image is not copyrighted. So let's say I want something like clip art. As you can see, some of these might be copyrighted. Usually if they have like the little squares like this, or if they say copyright across it, they are copyrighted, which means that you have to get permission from the creator. So what you're looking for is you're looking for something that is not copyrighted, right? So let's say I am going to use this. I can go ahead and copy it, and then I can go ahead and paste it if I want to do that. Okay, so now we have stop. Now you can work with the design, right? So obviously I'm not just going to do a PSA poster with the word stop or a stop sign, right? I need to work on the design. So again, I need to think about what do I want to put in my poster to convey this image or this argument to stop bullying. But let's say you want to put some high school kids, right? So you can go ahead and put, do a search for a high school to show like that bullying happens in high school, or you can, you know, do a search for like an elementary school, or you can go ahead and do a search for like online, right? Because cyberbullying occurs. So if I do a search for that, maybe I can find some images. So here we go. Maybe I can go ahead and look for, well, I'm getting some ideas here, right? So we see some emojis and some computers, so maybe that's what I need to do. I need to look for a computer, and then maybe I can go ahead and get that image. So maybe I want to use, let's see, maybe I want to use this one, right? So again, you would go ahead and copy and paste it onto your PSA poster just so that you can go ahead and work on the design. Now I know that this right now does not look that great, but obviously you can go ahead and work with the design and things like that. So basically what I'm trying to show you is that you should not get full images of on Google, because that would be considered plagiarism, but you can go to Google and find different images like I just did and put them together to create some sort of design. So you can do that. Obviously, you can also use Publisher, you can also use Paint, you can also use PowerPoint, you can even like draw it, or you can even paint it. Again, you have complete creative control. However, your PSA poster should meet these guidelines right here. One, it should appeal to ethos, pathos, and logos. So when I see your poster, I should see an appeal to ethos, which is credibility. I should also see an appeal to pathos, which is appeals to the audience's values and beliefs. And I should also see logos, which is an appeal to logic. So you can go ahead and do that through the images, through the text, through the design. Again, you have complete creative control. However, it should have ethos, pathos, and logos. Also, you should have a powerful persuasive message. And basically what this means is that the argument should be clear. Like for example, in this poster, it's obviously clear that I'm trying to say stop bullying. That's my argument. That's my message. So again, it has to be clear. I have to be able to see what the message is by looking at the poster. You should also have a headline or a slogan stating the message of the PSA poster. So obviously that's something that you can come up with. You don't want to use a slogan that's already out there. You want to maybe try to create something that's original. But again, if you're going to use a slogan that's already out there, maybe try to go ahead and cite it. You also need a dominant image or group of images. So basically your PSA poster cannot just be words or text. You also need to provide statistics, facts, or other vital information. Just like I did over here where I put 3 out of 5 students are victims of bullying, you need to have some sort of statistic, because PSA posters are trying to get people to make a change, a positive change, or to get help or to create awareness, and usually you do that through facts. So you want to go ahead and make sure that you have um, a credible source, but also you want to have a fact or a statistic that will grab the audience's attention. Last but not least, you want to make sure that you have thoughtful use of color, space, font, image placement. Obviously, right here, this does not look great, right? Because I am working on the design. But again, play around with the pictures, play around with the font, try to make it look nice, pretend this is an actual poster that you're going to, you know, post somewhere or that it's going to be published. And the last thing that I did want to say is that one of the things that you want to do for your poster is you want to also submit a short paragraph where you basically just explain the purpose of your poster and also how you utilize ethos, pathos, and logos. And on that, it should be a separate file. And like I said, it should just be a short paragraph where you discuss your ethos, pathos, and logos, your design choices. But you also want to go ahead and cite the sources you've used there. Okay. So obviously, you're not going to cite the source in the poster. In the module, I have some posters from students who submitted it, and some of them do cite the source in the poster. However, I'm asking you to open up another file, write a short paragraph where you explain ethos, pathos, and logos and the design of your poster, and then also cite the sources. You can use more than one source, but you just need one statistic. So let me go over the rubric very briefly. So each one is worth 50 points. So when it comes to the revised essay, I am looking for substantial changes as necessary, so that is worth 15 points. Also, the revised essay should have few punctuation and grammatical errors, which is another 15 points. And then, do you highlight your changes? That's another 10 points. And the last one regarding the revised essay is, do the changes demonstrate the progress of the writer? So I'm not just looking for like superficial changes, I'm looking for changes that show how much you've improved throughout the semester. Regarding the letter, do you use the 4 types of knowledge? The 4 types of knowledge are self-knowledge, critical knowledge, rhetorical knowledge, and content knowledge. Those can be found in the Assembling a Portfolio chapter that I have linked under the module, so you should go ahead and read that. Also, the letter should be a comprehensive reflection that spans the entire semester. So you want to go ahead and use examples from the entire semester. Does the letter contain sufficient examples and details as support? Now, something that I didn't mention is the letter should be formatted as a letter. So, letters are not long. Letters are about a page to a page and a half. This means that everything you put in the letter should be important and should matter. So basically, you can still put enough examples, you just have to make sure that you get straight to the point and your examples are clear, succinct, but they are also robust so that we can see how you've progressed throughout the entire semester. And that's why I write down here, does the letter follow proper formatting and length? And of course, I will post more information in the module so you can just go ahead and look at it to see like the proper formatting for a letter and things like that. Next, we come to the PSA poster. The PSA poster, does the poster convey a powerful, persuasive message? Is this message explained in a separate paragraph? So don't forget that separate paragraph, because if you don't submit a separate paragraph, you only get in progress, assuming your poster has a persuasive message. Does the poster appeal to ethos, pathos, and logos? Does the poster contain a dominant image? And also, does the poster demonstrate thoughtful use of color, space, font, image placement, and design? So obviously, I'm not expecting you to be an artist, but basically what this means is that you actually pay attention to design, color, things like that. So basically, it means that you try when it comes to like the color, the design, and all of that. Also, does the poster include a fact or statistic? Is the source cited in APA? So you want to make sure you cite it in APA, and also you want to make sure that you include a fact or a statistic. As I mentioned earlier, the fact or statistic goes on the actual poster. The citation, you can go ahead and put that in the separate paragraph that you're going to be submitting. Last but not least, does the poster contain an appealing headline or slogan? So you want to make sure that you have some sort of appealing headline or slogan that is memorable and that catches the reader's attention. Okay, so now that we've gone over the instructions, I do want to show you the module because there you will find more information regarding this assignment. So if we scroll all the way down to the module, it's the last one. Right here, I have the assembling a portfolio and writing a reflective essay. So you want to go ahead and read this because this is the chapter that talks about the different types of knowledge that should be in your letter. It also has an example of a letter right here by Bruce Urbanek. It's pretty much, I think it's towards the very end. So here we have the types of knowledge: self-knowledge, content knowledge, rhetorical knowledge, critical knowledge. And I did go ahead and highlight some of these questions. These questions, you don't have to answer them all. They are just meant to help you write your letter. However, these two questions right here: what is the most important thing I have learned in this course? How do I expect to use what I've learned from the course in the future? Those two are really, really important, and I suggest that those two questions are answered in the conclusion of your letter. So moving on, here we have the sample letter. And you don't have to direct it to Dear Portfolio Reader. You can put Dear Natalie Herrera. Just make sure you actually put the correct name because I've had a lot of students who write the wrong name or, address the letter to somebody completely different. Next, we have the portfolio. So I definitely encourage you to go ahead and look at this portfolio, at this PSA poster PowerPoint, because here I explain what a PSA is, and I also provide some topic ideas, as well as I provide some tips on creating a visual argument, and I also provide examples of actual PSAs that are out there. So definitely look at this PowerPoint. And then I also have the Ad Council link, which is the corporation that creates PSA posters. So you can go ahead and look at some of their campaigns. Maybe you can go ahead and get some ideas, or you can just go ahead and, do some research through here, find out some information. They're usually very, very helpful. Like I said, they're the leading corporation that creates PSA posters. And then here I have some PSA samples from past students who have created these in the past. As you can see, this is a smoking PSA. And I have a variety. I have some that were created by hand, and I have others that were created through computer. So definitely go ahead and take a look at that portfolio module. Also take a look at the writing tools module because there I have information about thesis statements, but I have some information on revision tips. So that might come in handy for the portfolio since you are revising an essay. But either way, let me know if you have any questions regarding the portfolio. I will be glad to answer them.